Good morning, everyone. Um, this morning, I would like to talk about something that I didn't really think about, and some people might think that of me, and I'm not really sure. I've not seen any direct evidence of this, but to clarify, in case anyone does think that, I do not have this mental disorder or any of the ones on this particular video that I watched. The video is called 10 of the Strangest Mental Disorders. It was published in November 6th, 2018. And the YouTube channel is They Will Kill You. And basically, it talks about mental disorders and the top 10 of them. And some of them are really strange. And like, I don't even know how anybody could have those mental disorders. Like, who honestly, how is it even possible that somebody could think they're a cow? Like, really? Anyway, there's one where I simply want to clear the water on this one and explain that I do not have this problem. I've made videos about, being an involuntary celibate, which is very true. I live that life every day. I know the situation from my point of view better than anybody else. Um, so, obviously, to make my life a little bit more interesting, I entertain certain ideas on what's going on in the world because of lack of evidence per se, although there is a lot of indirect evidence and a lot of deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, whatever it is, those things. And on this top 10 list, there was one specifically that I wanted to talk about, and it was called Erotomania. I'd never specifically heard of that before. My very primitive understanding of it is, according to the definition on Google, anyway, is a delusion in which a person, typically a woman, believes that another person, typically of higher social status, is in love with them. Um, as an involuntary celibate and as a man who rarely gets to talk to women, um, as a way to boost my self-esteem, I've thought of things where I'm going, is it possible that there is conspiracy here? Is my life more complicated and elaborate than I'm allowed to know? And of course, these things are true. I mean, those are words that people don't often use, and they're associated with a crazy person. But maybe they're not crazy. I don't know. I'm willing to have discussion. But anyway, I don't fixate on anyone specifically. Um, this, I would figure, mostly stems from people who think that, I don't know, people of important social status, celebrities, blah, 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 are focusing on them. And it's simply not true. I suppose if you're in an inner circle of a cult of personality around any individual who's associated with a lot of money and fame and stuff like that, the delusion gets stronger. But if you're an everyday person, then no, you don't have that kind of. There's no messages in the media, unless of course there's some creep on the other side of your IP address going, "Brand, I'm gonna troll this guy so bad." That actually can happen. They control the internet. They can do that if they want. Don't know why, but yeah, some people do that. Like the way I look at it is there are definitely women out there that are interested. There's no doubts about that. I know that for a fact because of the way I present myself. I'm actually, quite handsome in certain lights. Probably not at 6:30 in the morning when I haven't had a shower, but some women like that. Uh, yeah, so there's that. The way I spend money, the fact that I'm not an asshole, or try not to be one anyway. These are all factors in going, why can't I get with women. And I go, there's something else going on here. And that does mean, going, well, what could it be? Are there women that are interested, that are fascinated with me, and they're hiding it because they're not sure what to do, and I'm not allowed to know their names or anything about them? It's not like, I woke up in a world where there's absolutely zero women in it. I know that's not true. There are women, there are lots of women, and a guy of my social status should, in a normal society, be able to score women, but for some reason I can't. And it's not the easiest thing to explain. There have been, very rare instances in recent years where I've seen women's behavior, and I go, there was something more there. And if they dismissed it, if I ever, approached them about it or whatever, I'd accept it. There are other women out there. It doesn't have to feel so enclosed. You don't have to be so narrow-minded about things. And, I think that this could be a problem for a lot of involuntary celibates, where they think too highly of themselves, delusions of grandeur, and they believe in things that are preposterous and couldn't possibly be true. I mean, for me, I know there's something more going on in my life, and there are people out there that could quite easily enlighten me, but somehow it's supposed to be a journey or a path or some shit like that, where I'm supposed to figure it out for myself, and I will. Someday I'm going to be, doing quite well, but right now I could be doing better, I feel. Still got a bit of a sore throat, so that doesn't help. It limits my mobility, that's for sure. But you know, uh, like I try to put a name to a face. That helps me, because you may not get to know a lot of people because of your social status and where you are in your life, especially if you're involuntary celibate. But it's not quite like Castaway with Tom Hanks and Voight or Wilson or whatever his name is, and he talked to him, to keep himself from going crazy. It's not quite like that, but there's you do have to have some focal points in what you're thinking about, because if you don't have them, um, the world could start to just seem absurd and couldn't possibly be true, but the world is very real. Um, so, of course, that would be a mental illness, believing that the world doesn't exist, which is actually probably one of the mental illnesses in that video. That none of those things apply to me. And like I said, this is me clearing the water on it. In case anyone thought, oh, he's got erotomania, whatever that means exactly. I only read the Google definition of it, and I only thought about it because I watched this video. And, that might be, unfortunately, part of the rationale is why I can't go with women and, have a normal sex life, is because it says that this is a problem that affects mostly women. And to clear the water, I'm not speaking about any women specifically in any of my videos. It's not, I'm not doing that. So any women that may feel that way towards me, that I'm somehow, putting in a message here or there, they're wrong. It's not true. I'm simply talking on YouTube, making videos, and these aren't exactly the type of videos I enjoy making. I'd rather talk about hockey, conspiracy theories. Uh, People got to know my style by now. And, right now it's like a nagging, ongoing problem. And that's why a lot of my videos of late have been talking about stuff that I don't enjoy talking about. And this isn't fun. I would rather have gotten my blowjob, but I never had one of those before. Uh, so, you know, uh, people can think what they want, especially as I can't stop them. But, from my point of view, I think the notion is absurd. I know there are women who are interested in me, so that's not absurd. Um, simply, there's facts out there. Um, don't get to see them as often as I'd like, that's for damn sure, but there are facts. And unfortunately, if there are women out there that suffer erotomania, in regards to thinking towards me, and that's used as the justification for going, well, Ryan is causing these problems even if he doesn't know it or doesn't understand it. Therefore, we can accuse him of personally suffering from that problem because he's a problem to begin with. For starters, if someone's thinking that, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's not applicable to me, that's for damn sure. Uh, you know, I do not have this impression that I'm all that in a bag of potato chips. It's not true. Uh, there are things I got to improve about myself. Like for one thing, I got to build up a base tan at least. I can't be so pale. But no one's perfect, and that's okay. Um, but I wanted to make it clear that I do not have that mental disorder, in my opinion. If somebody chooses to believe different, as I said, I can't stop them, so go ahead and think what you want. But, I don't think it's true. I think, I'm as a reasonable person as I can be given my situation. And maybe that's not what people want to hear. Maybe people want a show. Maybe they want, a mental disorder. Uh, it just stuttered on my computer for a second. I hope that doesn't show up in the video, but it doesn't matter. I'm not making this video again afterwards, to remake it anyway. Um, so yeah, there are names to faces of, events and things, and that's part of having some semblance of a social life, which nobody wanted me to have, evidently. And it's not all, attraction to females. It's also, having to deal with different types of social scenarios and different types of social problems and all that kind of stuff, which contributes to this involuntary celibacy. And, it's a very complex, difficult problem. And, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea me being in the dark about it and, people coming up with their own judgments and, you know, running around like that's fact. My presumption is that they don't know what they're talking about and they simply made up a story to justify what they do and what they think, and it's not actually applicable, it's not actually accurate. And yeah, it's just a big, damn complicated mess. Anyway, I'm a reasonable guy. I can be talked to in a reasonable manner. You can expect reasonable answers. Uh, but from what I'm hearing from society, because I obviously live in society, so I do hear things from society, believe it or not. And my understanding is society is not being reasonable towards me, and I don't like that. Uh, Fair to say, I'm trying to move in a positive direction and all that sort of stuff. But there are a lot of things that are causing, things to be less than ideal, and that is a potential problem. The Erotomania and hypothetically speaking, uh, the women might be interested in me that I would have no interest in. And there are no secret hidden messages in my videos. I don't think that way. That's not how my brain works. Anyway, gonna wrap this up, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.